They call me the Speed Demon. The Minaur Foundation is a foundation to help out kids to come over to Europe and be able to learn a lot from...
Breaking. Alex de Minaur's $2 million secret exposed. What he's been hiding will leave you speechless. What's up, tennis family? Before we dive into the most jaw-dropping, heart-stopping, absolutely mind-blowing revelation in tennis history, I need to hit pause for just 1 second. We have some incredible news to share with all of you beautiful people. Champions Tennisitics has officially crossed 1,000 subscribers. Can you believe it? 1,000 of you amazing tennis fanatics have decided to join this wild ride with us. And honestly, we're just getting warmed up. If you're watching this right now and you haven't subscribed yet, today is your lucky day, because what we're about to reveal will literally change everything you thought you knew about one of tennis's biggest stars. So buckle up, grab your favorite snack, and get ready, because this story is absolutely insane. We all know Alex de Minaur, right? The demon himself. That lightning-fast Australian warrior who slides across the court like his life depends on every single point. We've watched him battle the giants of tennis, sweat pouring down his face, diving for impossible gets, refusing to surrender even when the odds are stacked against him. We see the highlight reels, the brand endorsements, the glamorous life with his tennis star girlfriend Katie Boulter, the private jets whisking him from tournament to tournament across the globe. We think we've got this guy all figured out. We think we know what makes him tick. The fame, the fortune, the glory of center court under the bright lights with thousands screaming his name. But here's the thing that's going to absolutely blow your mind. While we were all busy analyzing his backhand and debating his chances at the next Grand Slam, Alex de Minaur was living an entirely different life. A secret life. A life so hidden, so carefully guarded, and so unbelievably generous that when you hear the full story, you're going to question everything you thought you knew about professional athletes in this era of social media madness and shameless self-promotion. This isn't some tabloid scandal about late-night parties or controversial statements. This isn't about tax evasion or secret families. No. This is something so pure, so genuinely beautiful, and so ridiculously expensive that insiders who've discovered the truth have been left absolutely speechless. We're talking about a $2 million secret that Alex de Minaur desperately tried to keep hidden from the entire world. He didn't want the headlines. He didn't want the Instagram likes. He actively worked to make sure nobody would ever find out. But secrets this big have a way of finding the light. And today, we're taking you on a journey to the outskirts of General Santos City in the Philippines to uncover the mystery behind a single word that holds 100 lives in balance. That word is peace. Now, when you picture where a multi-millionaire professional tennis player might invest his hard-earned cash, what comes to mind? Maybe a stunning penthouse overlooking Monte Carlo, right? Perhaps a sprawling mansion in Melbourne with ocean views. Or maybe even a cutting-edge training facility somewhere in Europe equipped with the latest technology. You certainly don't imagine the rough, sometimes forgotten outskirts of General Santos City in the Philippines. This is Manny Pacquiao's hometown, sure, a place famous for producing one of boxing's greatest legends. But it's not exactly where tennis royalty typically hangs out. It's raw, it's real, and it's about as far from the pristine grass courts of Wimbledon as you can possibly get. Yet according to reports that are only now beginning to surface through whispered conversations and anonymous sources, this is precisely where Alex de Minaur quietly purchased an enormous piece of land. He didn't announce it on social media. He didn't hold a flashy press conference with a ribbon-cutting ceremony and photographers everywhere. He moved like a ghost in the night, operating through intermediaries, keeping his name off the paperwork as much as legally possible. He bought the land and immediately began construction. But here's where it gets really interesting. He wasn't building some tropical vacation retreat where he could escape the pressure of the tour. He wasn't constructing a luxury hotel to generate passive income. Over the following months, construction trucks started rolling in regularly, building materials, furniture, medical supplies, educational equipment. The local residents were confused and curious. Who was funding this massive project? What kind of structure was rising from the red dirt in this overlooked corner of the Philippines? Gradually, week by week, a building began to take shape. It was modern, clearly expensive, and built with genuine care and attention to detail. And when the construction finally finished and the dust settled, a simple sign was placed at the entrance. It didn't say the Alex de Minaur Foundation. There was no Nike swoosh or tennis racket logo. Just one simple, powerful word staring back at anyone who passed by. Peace. Alex de Minaur had secretly built a fully operational, state-of-the-art orphanage. But calling it just an orphanage doesn't really capture the scope of what he created. This is a genuine sanctuary, a place of hope and healing. We're talking about a comprehensive facility specifically designed to house, nurture, protect, and quite literally save the lives of over 100 orphan children. These aren't kids with wealthy relatives waiting in the wings or foster families lined up. These are children who had absolutely nothing. No parents to tuck them in at night, no steady meals, no access to education or healthcare, and frankly, no real future to look forward to before this place existed. And suddenly, because one tennis player decided to do something extraordinary with his wealth, these children were given everything they needed. The facility is absolutely incredible when you look at the details, especially when you realize that every single dollar came directly from Alex's personal fortune. There was no charity gala fundraiser, no corporate sponsorship package, no government grant. This was 100% privately funded by him. The orphanage features fully equipped modern classrooms where these kids are now receiving a quality education that most of them never imagined possible. There's an on-site medical clinic staffed with qualified doctors and nurses who can treat everything from basic illnesses to more serious health conditions that would have previously gone completely untreated. He built a dormitory system with clean beds, proper sanitation, and safe sleeping quarters for every single child living there. And here's a detail that just perfectly captures who Alex de Minaur really is as a person. He built the kids a sports court, which you'd absolutely expect from a professional athlete, right? But here's the twist that nobody saw coming. It's not a tennis court. You'd think a tennis player would naturally build tennis facilities, maybe hoping to discover the next young prodigy, perhaps creating a pipeline for future talent. But no, he built them a beautiful, regulation-sized basketball court. Why basketball? Because he took the time to learn what the kids in that specific region actually loved to play. He wasn't trying to create mini versions of himself or force his sport on children who might not be interested. He just wanted to give them pure, unadulterated joy. Now here's where this story gets even more unbelievable in our modern age of constant social media updates and celebrity oversharing. How does something this massive stay completely secret? Think about it for a second. We live in a world where celebrities post about donating $5,000 to a cause, and their publicists make sure it's trending on Twitter within an hour. They want everyone to know they're good people. They want the positive headlines, the glowing profiles, the reputation boost. But Alex de Minaur? He went into complete lockdown mode to protect this secret. There's apparently a strict, non-negotiable rule at the Peace Orphanage. Absolutely no media allowed on the premises. No journalists, no camera crews, no documentary filmmakers, no live broadcasts, and most importantly, no photographs of Alex with the children. He's visited the facility multiple times, flying quietly into the Philippines, avoiding the usual celebrity hotspots, staying under the radar, and just spending genuine quality time with these kids. He plays basketball with them on that court he built, shooting around and joking with them like any regular guy. He sits in the back of classrooms watching them learn, making sure the education program is working properly. He personally checks on the medical supplies and meets with the staff to ensure everything is running smoothly. To those children, he's not Alex de Minaur, the ADP star ranked in the top 10 in the world. He's not the demon who strikes fear into opponents. He's just the kind man who made sure they have a roof over their heads and food on their plates. This level of genuine humility is almost suspicious in 2025, isn't it? It actually makes you wonder about his motivations. Why the extreme secrecy? Why hide a $2 million act of pure kindness from the world? Is he worried about criticism from people who might question his methods? Is he concerned it would turn into a media circus that would disrupt the children's lives? Does he fear that other wealthy people might judge him or expect him to do even more? The story of how this secret nearly got exposed is fascinating in itself. According to sources close to Alex, an old friend of his, someone from way back who's known him for years, maybe a fellow player or a childhood mate from his early tennis days, somehow discovered what he'd been doing. You can almost picture the scene playing out. They're sitting somewhere private, maybe in a quiet corner of a tournament locker room or a hotel lobby away from prying eyes, and this friend confronts him. They pull up the rumors they've heard, the whispered stories circulating in certain circles, the questions about why Alex keeps making these mysterious trips to the Philippines. They look him directly in the eye with a mixture of confusion and admiration, and they ask the question that everyone who knows this story wants answered. The friend looked at Alex and said something like, "Why would you do something so massive, something so genuinely life-changing for these kids, and keep it completely hidden from everyone? You could be celebrated as a humanitarian. You could inspire millions. You could be a legitimate hero." And this right here is the moment that defines who Alex de Minaur really is as a human being. This is the moment that separates the fierce competitor we see on the court from the quiet angel working behind the scenes. According to the source who shared this story, Alex didn't launch into some long philosophical explanation about morality or responsibility. He didn't talk about tax benefits or creating a legacy. He just looked down for a moment with this sad, knowing smile on his face, the kind of expression that carries 1,000 untold stories of struggle and gratitude and perspective. Then he looked back up at his friend and responded with exactly 9 words. Just 9 simple words that immediately silence any criticism and explain absolutely everything about his decision. Alex said, "I wanted to save their lives, not my image." Let that statement sink in for just a moment. I wanted to save their lives, not my image. In a world where literally everyone is desperately screaming for attention and validation, where charity work is often just another marketing strategy to improve brand perception, where celebrities carefully calculate the return on investment for every good deed, Alex de Minaur reminded us what authentic humanity actually looks like. He understood something profound that most people in his position never grasp. He realized that if he brought the cameras into that orphanage, if he allowed the media to document his visits and create heartwarming content, the entire place would inevitably become about him rather than the children. It would transform into a tourist attraction where fans might try to visit. The orphanage would become just another chapter in the Alex de Minaur brand story. Those beautiful, deserving kids would be reduced to props in his narrative, their faces used to generate likes and shares. By keeping the cameras out, by strictly banning all media presence, he ensured that the facility remained entirely focused on them. It stayed true to its name, a genuine place of peace, just like the sign on the front gate promises. This revelation completely changes how we should view his entire tennis career moving forward. When we watch him running himself into absolute exhaustion during a brutal 5-set match, when we see him fighting desperately for every single point like his entire life depends on it, maybe he's not just playing for another trophy to add to his collection anymore. Maybe there's a much deeper motivation driving him. Maybe he's playing to keep the lights on in General Santos. Maybe every powerful forehand winner represents another textbook for the classroom, another vaccine for the medical clinic, another warm meal for a child who probably considers him family, even if they've never said it out loud. It creates this absolutely fascinating duality in who he is as a person. On the court, he's relentless, sometimes even ruthless in his competitive spirit. He's the opponent nobody wants to face because he simply refuses to quit no matter how far behind he falls. But off the court, away from the crowds and the rankings and the pressure, he's quietly transformed himself into a guardian angel for over 100 souls who depend on him. It makes you wonder what else we don't know about the athletes we cheer for every week. It forces us to realize that sometimes the loudest, most powerful hearts are the ones that beat in complete silence, doing good without any expectation of recognition or reward. The Peace Facility in General Santos is reportedly thriving beyond anyone's initial expectations. The children living there are healthy, they're learning and growing, and most importantly, they're safe. And they're safe because Alex de Minaur decided that their well-being, their actual lives, were worth infinitely more than his public image or his reputation. He spent $2 million not to buy some status symbol or investment property, but to quite literally purchase a future for children he had no biological connection to whatsoever. He saw a need. He had the means to address it. And he did so without asking for anything in return except perhaps the quiet satisfaction of knowing he changed everything for those kids. This story is currently breaking across the internet, and creating massive waves in the tennis community, and honestly, it deserves every bit of attention it's getting. It fundamentally challenges the cynical narrative about selfish, spoiled professional athletes who only care about themselves. It challenges all of us to think about what we do when absolutely nobody is watching or keeping score. It's incredibly easy to be generous when cameras are rolling and everyone's applauding your kindness. It's simple to donate money when you get a fancy plaque on a wall with your name engraved on it. But to build an entire kingdom of hope in the middle of nowhere and then actively forbid anyone from publicly acknowledging your role in creating it, that represents a completely different level of character that's almost impossible to find these days. As we continue covering tennis on this channel, documenting the matches, analyzing the statistics, and discussing all the drama of the ATP Tour, I think all of us are going to look at Alex de Minaur a little differently from now on. The next time he walks onto a court for a match, take a really close look beyond the surface. Look past the sponsor logos, the headband, the focused expression. You're looking at a man who carries a secret weight, a beautiful burden of responsibility for 100 young lives living halfway across the world who are counting on him even if they don't fully understand where their blessings come from. We absolutely want to know what you guys think about this incredible story. Does this revelation completely change your opinion of Alex de Minaur as both a player and a person? Do you believe more athletes should keep their charity work secret like he did? Or should they publicize their good deeds to inspire others and potentially generate more donations from fans? There's definitely a legitimate debate to be had here. Some people argue that if Alex showed the world what he built, it might inspire other wealthy athletes to create similar projects, multiplying the positive impact. But Alex deliberately chose the path of silence. He chose the path that keeps peace actually peaceful. And honestly, with the way our loud, chaotic world operates right now, maybe we desperately need less noise and significantly more quiet action exactly like this. Maybe we need more people doing good simply because it's the right thing to do, not because there's a camera pointed at them or a social media post waiting to be crafted. We're going to stay on top of this developing story as more information becomes available. If additional details about the Peace Orphanage emerge, or if Alex finally decides to break his silence and speak publicly about his incredible work there, you're going to hear about it first right here on Champions Tennisitics. We're absolutely committed to bringing you not just the scores and rankings, but the soul of this beautiful sport and the remarkable humans who play it. Thank you so much for helping us reach this incredible milestone of 1,000 subscribers. It genuinely means the world to us and motivates us to keep creating content that matters. If this story moved you, if you were genuinely surprised by this hidden side of the demon, please do us a huge favor. Smash that like button because it really does help the algorithm show this video to other passionate tennis fans who need to hear this story. Drop a comment down below with your honest reaction to Alex's powerful 9-word response. Tell us what you think about his approach to charity and whether you believe more athletes should follow his example. And most importantly, if you somehow haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our upcoming content. We have some absolutely massive deep dive documentaries planned covering the big three legends that you definitely don't want to miss. Until next time, keep watching, keep playing, and always remember that sometimes the biggest victories, the ones that actually matter most in life, happen when nobody is watching or keeping score. This is Champions Tennisitics, and we'll see you in the next one.